Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ken Frederick Podcast, episode 95. Spider-Man Homecoming, spoiler review, and whatnot. I want to say thank you for listening. If you just stumbled across us on the interwebs, check us out at kfpodcast.com, at Ken Fred Podcast on Twitter.
Facebook,
at Ken Frederick Podcast on Twitter, and then at Ken Frederick Podcast on YouTube.
Instagram.
And YouTube. All right. And then newly acquired...
Check us out now on SoundCloud every Friday morning. Well, it should be out by Friday morning at Ken Frederick Podcast. One word, Ken Frederick space podcast. Just look at Ken Frederick Podcast. You'll find us. We're the only ones out there if you search on it.
I searched it and found it in 2 minutes.
We're going to have original...
2 minutes? That takes forever.
We're using Abacus to look us up on.
We're going to have a show out there every Friday that'll be recorded tonight where it's uncut, no intros, no music, nothing fancy, just us blabbering about everything you can think of that we need to talk about for the week.
Drivel.
The week in nerd news.
It's a week in review. It's an official week in review.
All right.
And we'll still be here. What I say on Facebook, dong our stuff.
Yeah. Dong your own stuff.
Dong.
So check us out everywhere. We're everywhere.
Hey, I was in line when I told that guy it was a podcast all about wieners.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, you'll be dong original content weekly on YouTube.
That's right. Thanks, Lance, you asshole.
So let's get into this Spider-Man situation.
Non-spoiler movie
so
review.
Non-spoiler review. Let's start this off with the person who's going to take absolutely longer than everybody else. Josh Smith, everybody. Let's talk about
Hey, what's up?
Welcome back. You haven't been here for a while, so.
Yeah.
No, it's been a bit.
We forgot about how horrible you were the last time.
Well, you know.
We make these quick, Josh. The non-spoiler reviews we go through quick.
You just need to be reminded.
Non-spoiler, quick. It was worth my money to see.
Oh, there you go.
Very good, Josh.
Very concise.
Anything else?
You're going to ask him for more?
Yeah, I want more.
Poke the bear. Poke the bear.
Poke the bear. All right. No, I mean it.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say you
I take it back.
You definitely saw the Marvel Studios influence.
Okay.
Yeah.
True, good
Yeah,
statement.
definitely.
Okay.
It was definitely present.
Cheese?
I liked it. I thought there were a couple parts towards the middle where there were some pacing issues that slowed down a little bit. They tried to kind of cover that up with adding humor in. I'll go into one specific scene when we get into our spoiler stuff. But overall, I really liked it. I thought Tom Holland did a good job as Peter Parker. I liked his interaction with Tony Stark. The rest of the characters were all right. I love Michael Keaton, so I thought Vulture was cool. I don't know. He was all right. But yeah. So overall, I liked it.
Cool. All right, Lance.
As opposed to the last movie we reviewed, this is head and shoulders better.
What was the last one we did?
Transformers 5.
Oh, yeah, wow.
That doesn't even count as a
That's
movie.
like comparing.
Yeah. No,
I don't know what that's like comparing. But
I liked this movie. It was entertaining. It had a lot of things for the comic book enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
Some appearances of some surprise characters that I thought was sort of cool.
Fing Fam Foom. Who would have known? No, I'm just kidding.
And they brought back the.
No spoilers.
Oh, that's right. No spoilers.
This is the spoiler-free review.
We'll do that. We'll do that a little later.
all right.
Brock.
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a perfect amount of Tony Stark. I was a little worried with the trailers that he was going to be in it, and it'd be another like Iron Man 3.7 or whatever it'd be now. So I thought it was a good amount of him. I like that there's a younger Peter Parker now dealing with all the high school crap that he's dealt with in the comics all that time, because I've always just kind of like touched on that and never really did anything with it in the other movies. So I like the more high school drama side of things. And overall, I thought it was a good movie.
All right. Donald.
I agree. I thought it was good. It was entertaining. I do have some problems with it that I can't get into here. I'll get into in spoiler stuff. I think I kind of disagree with you, Brock, a little bit. I think the Tony Stark stuff kind of got on my nerves a little bit.
Could have been worse.
It was. it had a big, like me and Ken said in the movie theater, an Iron Man Jr. kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't.
I'll get into that.
But the villain was okay. Michael Keaton, he did a good job. I thought Vulture. We'll have to. Oh, that's spoilers. It was a little. I was a little confused with some of the things he was doing, but he's really good as Peter Parker. He's entertaining. I like his quick wit he has. I'm excited to see him mix with other heroes because I think he'll give you that good comic book Spider-Man feel of how goofing around with the Hulk, goofing around with Thor. It'll be entertaining. So he'll be entertaining there. Little too much comedy for me in some of the things. I think Marvel's getting a little carried away with the comedy. These last two Marvel movies I've seen, I felt like they're like you can almost list them as superhero / comedy movies because there's so much comedy now. Where the original Iron Man had that perfect blend of humor and serious. So
Yeah.
Ken,
I have to agree. I think this kid's the best Peter Parker they've done.
I agree.
Not just Spider-Man. I feel like he is like, I don't know. I think he's really well as Peter Parker. I liked his sidekick kid. I thought he was funny. I enjoyed him.
Ned.
My guy in the chair.
Yeah. Was his name Ned?
I think Ned. Yeah.
Okay. The other characters I wasn't a huge fan of. I thought Vulture was all right. I like what they could lead into that with. It's just a lot of heavy-handed. I don't know. It's the best Spider-Man movie that they've done, I think, but I don't think it's the best Marvel movie.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So,
I'll agree with that.
and I have some issues with it that we'll talk about with the spoilers. And since we're ready to talk about spoilers, Justin warned them that there's going to be spoilers.
Spoilers!
All right. So we're going to talk about spoilers.
Okay.
All right. Let's just get this out of the way. Josh, move! Go ahead.
No.
I love when he starts off with a sigh first. Well,
This is going to be exhausting for all parties involved.
You're welcome. Anytime. No, I like Michael Keaton, but you're right. Vulture was cool. Vulture was definitely cool, but the suit reminded me too much of like Iron Man. A little bit with
it was very
with,
Iron Spider.
Yeah,
already
with like how he detached and detached from it and that. And then the one other thing that was bugging me. Now maybe my memory's just not quite right with respect to the other previous Marvel movies, but I was scratching my head going, at what point does Tony Stark's money and control and influence end, and where does S.H.I.E.L.D. begin? I understand that it's all Avengers, but a lot of the stuff that I saw them, like the airplane, that made me think very S.H.I.E.L.D.-like.
Well, but you got to remember, he's the defense contractor that supplied
all that. Yeah, a lot of that was his Stark tech.
Well, and he had this whole, and again, it's kind of a little bit off because prior Marvel movies, but he had this whole argument about using the alien technology and this and that, and they were weapons and stuff. That was a little bit capped, and now we're totally cool with just confiscating all the alien tech and making whatever cool stuff we want.
Who was?
I don't think Iron Man was going to make cool tech out of it.
But
I think he was just storing it like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they were trying to clean it up.
That's what the vaults were for.
And that's why Spider-Man was stuck in the high security
Damage
zone.
control.
Yeah, damage control.
That was a nice little comic book nod.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that was one of my favorites.
Which it honestly was Tony Stark and Kingpin that formed damage control.
Yeah.
So they got half it right, which is interesting.
One thing I'll touch on you. I'm going to touch you for.
Touch him.
Was I was very confused by like some timelines in this movie. Like I think there was some continuum lapse. Like Avengers happened in 2012,
But it went 8 years into the
and
future.
then it went 8 years into the future because that's when Avengers 1 was released, and this was like the aftermath of that. Then he's living 8 years, so this movie's 2020, kind of, I guess. We skipped a few years, like that kind of confused me. And at the end, one of the spoilers, you see Pepper Potts. I thought she had left Tony because when the comments made in Age of Ultron and in Civil War were very, you ruined even Pepper's life. Remember when him and Steve were arguing? He was like, she left you because she couldn't stand who you are and all that. And then, like, they just seem to be okay.
But
and
this
she's
is
back.
clearly after even Cap Civil War.
This is clearly after, yeah.
So maybe he's getting his house in order and won her back.
So he's ready.
Yeah.
Or
she's
maybe
still,
she didn't feel like being in any movies, and
Yeah,
then she realized,
exactly.
I better jump back into the Marvel universe.
she's still running the
Remember,
company.
Happy says, I've been holding this ring for 8 years.
Right.
Everything's in the world of eights. And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, you're right, Brock. Where he was, was holding it, but I don't know.
She's
Well, I mean, this
running the company.
Yeah, I mean, this takes place
Yeah.
right after Civil War because Tony still has the black eye from his fight with Cap.
Yeah.
yeah, and then they skip 5 months ahead after he drops him off or
Yeah.
whatever.
And they start the movie with the whole video recording
Which was
showing you
well done.
Civil War. Sort of.
Right.
At
That was
least
cool.
From his perspective.
Well, how about you, Lance? What do you say, spoiler-wise?
Spoiler-wise, I sort of appreciated the fact that the 1970s theme made a cameo.
Oh
at the
yeah,
Very
it was,
nice.
Yeah, during the
Yeah.
Marvel flicker.
And I appreciate a couple of the more obscure villains like Shocker and Prowler.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah.
sort of
Who
cool.
was Prowler?
Prowler in the movie?
Yeah, which one was Prowler?
He was the guy who
Donald Glover?
Yeah. He was the second guy.
Is it Donald Glover?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
I was him and Danny Glover. I always say the wrong one.
No, but
Don't-
we only got half a shocker.
He only had one gauntlet.
Well, you only had one
Exactly.
gauntlet, yeah.
Okay.
But you got 2 Shockers with half a gauntlet.
Yeah.
So you actually got a full Shocker.
Okay.
And there were a couple more in there,
And all the
too.
women, they were excited.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we had at least
Scorpion.
The Tinkerer.
Yeah.
Which one was the Tinkerer?
the guy who was
Oh,
making
The
everything.
guy
Yeah,
who built
okay.
the
Yeah.
attack.
Matt
Interesting.
Gergen, who's going to be Scorpion, I would say,
Mhm.
at some point in time.
Yeah. I was
So-
glad that showed he survived.
That kind of gave you like a little, like maybe Sinister Six kind of
There's
vibe.
gotta
That's,
be.
yeah, that was what I
Yeah,
got
because
out of
it was Vulture, and which I'm not really sure why Vulture at the end didn't want to say that he knew who Peter was. Is that
He
'cause
still
he's trying
saved
to
his daughter.
protect his daughter,
Yeah,
kind
'cause
of
I think
thing.
he didn't want the criminals to start going after the daughter to actually force him to tell them.
Okay, all right.
Well, or, that moment of good grace because he remembered him picking him up out of the
Well,
fire.
actually, he
and
did
everything.
owe him one.
And he did
Yeah.
save his daughter's life.
yeah.
As soon as he gets out, he's gonna go back after him again.
Well,
Yeah.
but so he saved his daughter's life once, but then he saved the Vulture once. So,
Kind of owes him two.
well, no. So the first one was him not killing him the
Oh,
first
yeah,
time,
When he
Yeah.
had a chance.
and the second was not revealing his identity.
I like that they used the Chitauri tech to like power all their stuff. That's where they're getting these
Yeah.
shocker weapons. Right? It's all alien
Yeah.
stuff. So
It was actually sort of nice the way they did that little origin for Vulture. I mean, because it's a nice way to weave it into the MCU, but not piss off the comic book geeks.
well, my
Yeah.
problem, like I said, I had a problem with Vulture. My problem with Vulture was, so he starts getting all that tech. This is like for 8 years. Okay, so for 8 years he's stealing things and robbing stuff as the Vulture, like with this robot flying. That didn't attract any hero attention whatsoever.
He wasn't hurting
But
anybody.
he was raiding like salvage. So
But I still would think with that tech popping online that Iron Man would have been like,
Yeah.
oh my god, we got like, this guy's been doing this for 8 years.
But did they have a catalog of it yet? He got there first.
I don't know. I mean,
well, and the
it seemed to me
idea
like that's
because-
pretty obvious, that dude flying around, that would maybe pick something
Well,
up.
he wasn't
There's
hurting
no way
anybody,
Chitauri
so
had, like, stuff left over from
World's
that battle.
slowest cleanup
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
The government comes in, kicks out all the contractors,
Well,
and then takes 8 years to clean up everything.
but he
No,
wasn't
not right.
just.
Yeah, they were all cleaned up by then. He was
Oh, were they?
he was stealing from everywhere, right?
Well, he, as a salvage guy, I think realized when something happened, he had an in with whoever was cleaning it up to go in.
Because he cleaned up the Triskelion.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
cleaned up
Right.
the Ultron incident. That's why they had the
Well, he
Ultron
says he
head.
has the contract with the city. So.
Yeah, but I think also he's got connections, so that's why he's going to Maryland to get the Triskelion.
I thought he looked awesome.
Oh yeah,
I thought the look of him was really cool,
And,
really well
and
done.
again, Michael Keaton playing that character, that scene in the car when he's driving, that was a menacing scene.
That
Like,
was a
you
good scene.
believed
It was
that
intense.
he was going to shoot
Yeah,
him.
it was intense.
Yeah.
And actually, that moment when you realized that was Liz's dad.
yeah.
And I was telling
That was
Dawn
cool.
I was
That was
telling
definitely
Dawn
cool,
this.
yeah.
Marvel played everybody in their casting, the way they announced their casting. Because about a week ago, what was announced for IMDb, everything, because they sent out an article like a week ago. Zendaya's mysterious character revealed. Zendaya's character is the daughter of the Vulture, so it's whatever his Tombs. And then it turns out, no, that's not Zendaya's character. That's,
Right.
his love interest, who has been cast the whole time as Liz Allen. So I was impressed with the way Marvel was able to keep that under wraps until the movie.
Yeah. Which I didn't. So then you reveal that the other girl sounded like a complete smartass asshole. Whatever she is, she's MJ.
Yeah.
I don't.
that
That
part was-
Michelle.
kind of annoyed me. I didn't really understand what that was all about.
Yeah.
I don't.
Actually, did you guys notice the little Easter egg with? Okay, so they had the Ferris Bueller sort of moment.
Yeah.
And they showed Ferris Bueller, but the guy who was the guy before the yard with Ferris Bueller, that was actually Ferris Bueller's friend.
Well, I didn't
Oh,
catch
really?
that one.
Oh,
Cameron.
really?
It was Cameron.
I didn't
That's
see that.
funny.
Wow, you got a good eye, man. To catch all that.
I would have had to watch that movie 4 more times.
He lied.
to talk that.
You got a good eye to catch that one.
I am 99% sure that was Cameron.
No.
So, Brock,
I thought Spider-Man was a little too techie.
Agree.
agree.
Like he's always been like, and for some reason, okay, Tony takes the suit away from him because he does some stupid things. He's not going to be Spider-Man now. I mean, he's still Spider-Man without the suit. The suit didn't make him Spider-Man.
But that was part of the. I mean, that was part of the push.
It was, but it's like he was a complete bum after losing the suit. I don't know if it was because he was too reliant on it or what became
Well,
of that.
I just think it's a little piss poor that a 15-year-old with a laptop computer can break into Tony
Can
Stark's
hack into
Yeah.
Stark Industry
Right.
technology,
Yeah.
Iron Man technology to
He's
crack
the guy in the
suit.
chair.
Like, instantly, that part really annoyed the shit out of me.
Unless he didn't, he figured that he would break into it.
Probably.
Well, here's one of my beefs with Spider-Man himself was when you see him in Civil War and they show him, like, there's like 2 parts here. When they show him in Civil War and he's doing the YouTube video where he stops like a car and he's doing all this heroic stuff, then, like, fast forward, he's like a bumbling idiot. Like, he can't find a real crime.
Right.
He's falling down and slipping and falling when he's
Breaking
web
sheds
slinging,
and knocking
breaking
tree
things.
houses
I'm
out
like,
of-
why is he so, like, clumsy and dumb?
I think that was them implying that he was becoming more reliant on the suit and less reliant on himself.
Well, then...
Because that was after he'd opened it up to all the protocols in the suit.
No, it wasn't. When he first started using the suit and he goes out to fight crime, the protocols are on.
Yeah.
And he's just a bumbling idiot. He can't stop
but
a
he was
real
bumbling
crime.
even more after he took the
Well,
film.
he wasn't. Whenever he's getting a churro from the lady.
When he's getting a churro.
But there was
and
no crime happening.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, he couldn't find anything. And then, like, even the stuff he did do, remember you see him swinging and he just falls down on the roof and goes, I'm good.
Well, that's because he was trying to shoot it and there's no other buildings.
Yeah,
there.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why is he
That's.
such
I think
a-
that's more of a joke to the fact that whenever it says like.
He
Oh,
can't exist in any other city or whatever.
Exactly, and that's why he's like the joke when he's running through the golf course.
And if you remember the way he fought in Civil War, like, he was a badass. He took on Winter Soldier and Falcon at the same time and was, like, whipping their ass. Like, he was, like... You remember that scene? He's kicking the shit out of those two. They're like, they can't, like, get past him. And then, like, I felt like when he fought those guys in that room, like, he didn't know what to do. Like, he's, like, jumping around and he's getting hit. And it really bothers me that they took his spider sense away from him in this version of him.
Well, and
I don't understand why they
Karen
did
is going to
that.
end up being his spider sense.
That's
Yeah.
so annoying to me. One of the biggest things with
Are you
Spider-Man
jealous,
is his spider sense. I said to Ken, it's like taking away the fact that Batman's not a detective, that he can't figure things out. Spider sense is who he is. It defines him. Like Ken brought up a good point. What made Venom so cool was that Venom didn't affect his spider sense, because that was such a cool part of the story where you were like. Oh, like, he's not showing up on his spider sense. Like, he didn't know how to beat him because he's always so quick and aware. I felt like in this he was like such a bumbling idiot at times, and I'm like, that's not how they portrayed you in Civil War.
I feel like bumbling idiot's strong because I feel like Civil War
He
is
felt like a big rookie to me.
yeah.
Late teenager.
Yeah. Where in Civil War he looked like, wow, this was a secret weapon. He took on Winter Soldier and Falcon at the same time and made them look stupid. They were like facing each other, all webbed together, like, I hate you. Remember that scene? They're like, they're so annoyed because this kid just took them down. And he's fighting Cap, which they kind of cleaned it up saying, Cap let you win.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he wanted
I'm
to
like,
lay you out,
okay, but in this movie I felt like they really rookied him And if it wasn't for that suit, at the end they redeemed him because he looks strong at the end without the suit on.
Well, talk about superpower. There's probably 20 tons of rubble laying on top of him.
Which that's a
Comic
nod
Spidey could
to.
do that.
Didn't he do that in the book where the
there's
building
a
fell
cover.
on him?
There's a cover
Yeah,
of
the
him
cover
coming out.
From
Yeah.
Spider-Man 6,
When he saves everybody and he's holding up the building.
He
and
should
all
be able
that.
to do that.
Yeah.
I guess I thought maybe it's even too when they took away. I think Civil War when they cast Spider-Man or did that whole fight scene. I feel like he had his spider sense because he was dodging out of shit, all kinds of weird.
Because he was catching the shield and he was ducking. It really felt like he was totally using it. And then in this movie, they decided we're going to take it away because he has Karen. You know,
Well, he was using it in the bank robbery scene.
it seemed like it was.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
But the director came out and said that he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
Yeah, but they never reference it, and so that could be retconned later because they never say he. They don't talk about how he doesn't have it, but he never references it directly. So what they could do to retcon that later on is that when he was in his rookie in this movie, like just learning that he was relying on the suit to do things, maybe to do things for him to help him out, and he didn't even recognize that he was doing it.
Yeah.
And then later on, he's gonna figure out like once he'll do something stupid like that scene in the first Spider-Man where he catches all the crap on the tray, and he's gonna be like,
Well, you can also hit. They can do the puberty thing where the more.
Yeah, because he's only 15.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where he develops.
So-
I just don't like the Karen aspect of it at all. I don't want him talking, and it
too
reminds
tech.
me of like Blue Beetle talking to the Scarab.
It does.
Like being like, "Oh, what do I do? Oh, you're talking to yourself. Who are you talking to?" You know, like.
It's more Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, it's more Spider-Man 2099 kind of stuff. Now, I did like all the different webbing stuff because that's like really a throwback to like Scarlet Spider, impact webbing.
Yeah.
and
Same with the outside web shooters.
Yeah, the outside web shooters and all that
Spider-Man
stuff.
33.
should I enable instant kill?
Yeah.
And I like the eyes got all red and like,
Or the enhanced interrogation, but
Yeah.
With the
It was
voice.
Batman.
yeah, he really was Batman. I like when
You're new to this, aren't you?
Yeah, that part was good.
And another thing, I liked how they gave Vulture motivation. He just wasn't like a stereotypical villain, just being a jerk to be a jerk. He was trying to provide for his family. He lost his job to
His
it.
family who can't catch on what he does
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
living.
seriously.
Well, would
All
you
the
ever think
shady-
that though?
Shady people that you
He's
hang
in
out
sales.
with. He's in sales. He goes away on a lot of trips.
yeah.
Yeah.
well, he could be doing salvage at other places.
Yeah.
True.
The best thing about that though is this is a Marvel movie. They didn't kill the villain.
Yeah, they did.
Finally.
Yeah. This is probably one of the first times they knew. I thought he was going to die. I thought he was going to blow up.
I really did too.
And just it's the Vulture. Who would have cared if he even?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think this points to Marvel Sony wanting to bring him back and wanting to pull the Sinister Six
But
together.
does Sony want to do a Sinister Six in the Marvel Universe, or are they still hell-bent on doing their Venom and all their other stuff in their
I
own
don't
little
even
walking
know.
universe?
Sorry.
No good.
Right
Sorry.
now,
Right.
there's only a five movie deal between Marvel and Sony.
Okay.
This deal between the two companies ends with Homecoming 2, whatever
Yeah,
that's
because
going to
he's
be.
in Civil War and into Avenger movies and all that. Yeah.
the
So
one after Avengers 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
the first movie after Avengers 4, Sony has on their schedule Spider-Man 3 and 4. Tom Holland's on contract for 3 and 4, but Sony and Marvel either have to come together
Nah,
and
they'll figure it
maintain the
out.
relationship.
Yeah, because that'll just confuse everybody.
Yeah.
It'd
All
be
the
dumb.
money that they're making off this, they'll be fine.
I don't know how you can have a Spider-Man universe now without the Marvel universe being tied in. Because when Sony's like, oh, it's not going to be part of the Marvel U, it's so entrenched now into that.
Yeah.
Because how do you have a suit that's like Iron, like, and you know how we always have conversations where if something goes bad, like, where's Iron Man to help people out? Well, clearly he's around. He saved them twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
And now maybe he's not going to need to be saved as much because of he's developing and growing as a superhero. That's fine. But the escalation of the dire situation that's going to happen in the later movies, he's still going to need help if he needed help in the first one.
And you have the point where a lot of people who aren't like nerds like us and know about this stuff came up to me and was like, what, another Spider-Man? Do I need to see this? Like, why are they doing another new one? And the thing I tell them is, well, this is the Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe with Iron Man and all them. Oh, okay. what are you going to tell people when you go, well, this next one, he's back out of it again? What the hell? What? Like, why do I have to go see that? I'm not going to go see that. Like, it would totally ruin the credibility of it.
I think the short-term deal was simply to see how the relationship was going to work. And after probably Avengers 3, they're going to start renegotiating that deal.
Sony needs to get their head out of their ass and stop trying to make Venom movies that exist without Spider-Man.
It's going to be Matt Gargan.
It's hilarious. There was a week where it went back and forth where Amy Pascal from Sony announced, "Oh yes, we're part of the Marvel MCU," and Feige's sitting in the interview with this look on his face, like, "Bitch, what did you just say?" And then they came out later, and Feige was like, "Well, it's kind of, sort of, not really." And then they came back and clarified it, and it's technically part of the same world.
It's ridiculous.
But the Sony specific movies are not going to be brought into the Marvel Avengers type movies.
I'm fine with that.
So this is the lawyer way of saying it's the same but different.
Yeah.
So when the Avengers are flying around, they should see a bubble over a part of Manhattan. They go, "Oh, that's a Sony pocket world over there.
Yeah.
We can't cross through that.
That's Sony Village.
That's Sony Village. You can't cross into there. Spider-Man can, but he can swing right back out. Sony Village." Ken, do you have any spoiler things that you wanted to mention?
I liked Vulture. I liked the teasing in the Sinister Six. I think that the way that all the villains in this movie looked is how they originally envisioned for the Spider-Man Spider-Man 1 and 2. Because it's very techy, it's very like that, but it's done better because that's a backstory tied into the Marvel Universe.
Right.
I mean, they tried it with what Goblin was going to have that Oscorp, all that stuff.
All those weird uniforms they showed.
Yeah, when they showed
they
Kraven,
even showed them all and they were terrible.
When they showed Vulture's wings, I feel like this is like, I think it's a mishmash of the two. Like, Sony wanted a very tech-oriented villain core.
Everything was tech.
And that's what this is. And you're going to have Spider-Man, who's also... It's going to be really weirdly tech versus tech.
But you know how, Marvel does it right? Because, they put the jacket with the feather thing around, the fur.
Well, yeah.
They give you that classic feel to it.
They made it recognizable, but it was updated.
Right,
Yeah.
it was updated. It was like, oh, here's all this tech and goofiness, but not that Goblin uniform like from the original Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
With Tobey Maguire. And they're like, oh, look at the jacket. Okay, he looks like the Vulture. You can tell who that is.
So I liked that. The tech, or the ties with Spider-Man felt like the Iron Spider stuff. All that kind of stuff, it felt very much like it.
Makes sense.
And it does make sense, but I want a more classic Spider-Man. I want him to be like, and if he's able to hack into the suit, I'd like to see in the next movie him overriding it, and it's more Parker Industries kind of starting to go in that direction where Parker's like, oh, well, I made your stuff better, or I took this out. I let what was the one protocol, the Baby Monitor protocol, where it records everything. All that stuff's been taken out. I created some upgrades, and I got rid of some excess stuff.
I like how they referenced several times during the thing that he created his own web fluid.
Yeah.
Without going back and giving the whole story about how he did it.
Yeah.
Well, thank God we didn't have to sit through another origin.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So,
the only thing I felt that was really missing from it was the influence of his uncle and why he does what he does.
Yeah.
And the bringing up with the great power comes great, because that's Spider-Man's creed that he lives by. It's like Batman fighting because his parents died. There's that reasoning behind it. I felt like they didn't have any of that in there. There was no mention of his uncle, a little bit about what we went through, but I felt like he was missing that at the core. I don't think Peter would be so stupid with that stuff because of who he was. At that point when he's Spider-Man, he's very mature. He's
not
going to act like an idiot and an asshole and wear a Spider-Man suit to impress a girl. He did all that before.
Yeah.
When he was the wrestler and all that. He did all that before his uncle died. By the time his uncle died, he was serious. So I felt like that piece of his core was missing.
You know who he reminded me of? A Spider-Man version of Kick-Ass.
Yes. Yeah, being yeah, great. Yeah, I'm going to run out and do all this fun stuff and
right.
Yeah.
He was Kick-Ass with powers.
I think. Let me see how I'm going to say this here. So
Okay.
you bear with me a second. Someone else talk.
Okay.
Josh.
All right.
You think about it for a minute while we talk about Flash
So
Thompson.
the one,
Go on.
I want to do one.
He could be Venom too.
When I talked about the pacing, some of the pacing issues, when he gets locked in damage control,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Karen, how long have we been here? 37 minutes." I was like, "Yeah, it feels like you've been here 37 minutes."
I actually like that scene.
And it was like a 2 minute. I thought some of the stuff was cool, but it felt a little drug out to me.
Yeah. Now can we talk about Flash Thompson?
I guess he was annoying.
I can't. I hated that kid as Flash Thompson.
I actually didn't mind him.
I don't mind him for the character he plays, but he shouldn't have been Flash Thompson. You could have called him anything else, and I would have been completely fine with it.
They changed everybody else's name.
Yeah.
Changed everybody else's name and made what her name Toombs his daughter and all these different people and his
Betty
new
Brant's
friend.
the high school reporter instead of the
Everybody was
Daily
fine.
Bugle reporter.
I don't get why that kid's called Flash Thompson. I don't get where the Flash part comes from or any of that stuff.
Well, didn't you see
He was a DJ.
No, but did you see the license plate?
Did it say Flash?
Flash driver.
Flash driver. Yeah, I don't know. Like, to me, Flash Thompson is your stereotypical bully, and I know in this movie it was very big on like the Marvel message of keeping diversity throughout. Where you look at his friends and the crew he was with and everything he was. So I don't think they were going to go put somebody that looked like Flash Thompson in this movie. So just take the character out. Which I would have been fine with. I don't need Flash Thompson in a movie.
No.
I just thought like that was kind of.
I guess as a person that I don't care about Flash Thompson.
Neither do I. Yeah,
But I don't think that. I thought he was a jerk. I thought he played.
Yeah.
He played Flash Thompson.
Yeah. I don't know. Just to me, I felt like he was bullying Peter, calling him Penis Parker, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got the whole party on Penis Parker.
But I mean, the thing that used to if you remember with old Flash was, I guess this is just the different kind of bullying, is he used to physically bully Peter. And that was one of the things that defined his character was he got to the point where he knew he could rip Flash apart, but he always had to hold it in. And that was one of the things I liked about it, because Flash was a big, imposing, football-looking, scary dude who used to physically abuse him, stuff him in lockers, beat him up, and it was that whole holding back. I'm not going to punch this kid and rip his head off.
Yeah.
Where that's the only reason I like Flash Thompson, because I always like that dynamic where Peter would, and then eventually they become friends and all that. The bully realizes that you weren't going to be physically bullied by this kid. Peter's like stronger than him, so that's it was a different kind of bullying. It was picking on and all that other thing.
I don't think you can have that same. I mean, it's a different time.
It's a different time.
They didn't do the origin either, where he was weak before.
Yeah, he was already Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
And even though they were rivals, I mean, the whole thing with the academic challenge team and things like that, it was
Lance,
almost like they were friends.
I need you to move up to the mic a little.
It was
bit.
almost like they were friends.
Yeah, it was almost like they were friends who he just picked on. He was just goofed with a little bit,
Yeah.
because he was on the nerdy team too and all that. And I don't know.
They did keep the trend of him always skipping out, always just missing things.
Yeah.
The annoying
that
spider
was-
thing where he
Yeah.
Like.
might have been like, I'm just gonna go to the pool with the chick.
Yeah. So I was like, man, that takes a lot of
I'll just
willpower
call
for
Iron
a
Man and have him go
15-year-old
handle
kid.
So, what did everybody think of Aunt May?
She was fine.
Yeah.
I love Marissa Tomei. So.
Yeah, she was fine. I thought they overdid it with the Aunt May's hot thing. Like that joke came up a lot. Everybody,
Well,
the
yeah,
restaurant guys hitting on her.
restaurant guy was-
I'm like, okay, she's not that hot. Like, but she's fine. I thought it was cool how she saw him changing at the end and was like, what the? And then they cut away. So that's an interesting dynamic that she knows.
because
who
she
he
never
is.
knew in the comics.
No.
I always felt like Aunt May always knew and just never said it.
Yeah.
She was from that time where you just never said anything.
Yeah.
How about the potential Civil War spoiler where they had the press and Tony gave him the suit and he was going to come out as an Avenger
Yeah.
at the end? What do you guys think about that?
I thought that was cool.
I was really glad that they didn't do the whole hey I'm Peter
Yeah,
Parker.
it felt weird when they were like, "We're gonna give you this Iron Spider looking suit.
Yeah.
And we're gonna announce you." I'm like, "Oh, I don't like." And then I'm like, "Okay, good." He walked away, like he's just gonna go be
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I'm like, "Okay, that's good."
That wasn't because I forgot they did publicly introduce him.
Yeah.
Where he introduced and took his mask off.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
And that's why he made a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen maybe one or two Avenger cameos there, maybe Vision or someone.
Well,
I don't
they're
even
at
know who the hell's Avengers.
Who's
at
an
that
Avenger
point.
now?
There's
Yeah.
there's this Vision, right?
That's the only name they dropped too. 'cause
Black
they don't know
Widow is
either.
still there. Yeah,
And
Is she with Tony?
yeah, she was there at the end. She,
Falcon.
No, Falcon's in jail.
Oh, that's right.
Falcon, Ant-Man, Cap, they're all in jail.
Oh,
They're not in
Hawkeye.
jail.
What about Hawkeye?
Well, Cap broke them out.
Yeah, they're
At the
all in
end.
Wakanda.
They're all on the
Hawkeye.
run. Hawkeye was on the run with Cap.
Trying to remember who else. I'm trying to remember from the
Tony's
Scarlet
team,
Witch?
Tony's team was
Scarlet Witch turned.
No, I'm trying to remember who was in the Avengers compound in Civil War.
Yeah, they're all gone except for Vision and if War Machine's still there.
doesn't like
rehabbing.
doors.
War Machine.
Yeah.
Or walls.
So they announced the whole moving out of Stark Tower. They're selling the building. They kind of made that big. Over under on whether either Spider-Man Homecoming 2 or they wait until 3, Oscorp moves into the old Avengers Tower.
Probably.
Nah.
That would be interesting. Probably something like that.
Well, they had that big, flat, open spot.
Perfect for a glider to land on.
Exactly, 3/4 of the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that now we don't have to worry about seeing the Avengers Tower in the skyline of New York
In the
whenever
skyline of
in
New York,
Marvel
they're
stuff.
upstate.
Right.
The Avengers compound looked great.
It
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally think it was just a thing that like we need to get it out of like because people are going to be pissed about it not being in.
Yeah, I didn't see it in Daredevil.
Yeah. Oh, in Spider-Man 6, it's still not in there.
It's still not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. The Avengers stuff at the end was neat. I like Happy Hogan a lot.
Yeah, he
He's-
had a bigger role in this
Yeah.
movie than he did in Iron Man.
Yeah, he's good. I hope he stays around for it.
He will.
Because when he feels like a Coulson, which I thought I've missed Coulson in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a good that.
He's Tony's Coulson. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Tony's Coulson, the straight man that makes a little joke here and there. The guy you depend on.
He can even train Peter how to actually fight
Yeah,
since he's taught Tony how to box. and
I hope they
everything.
keep him around. I like
Yeah.
him.
I agree. So we got anything else?
No, we've been for about 35 minutes now, so if we're ready for ratings, unless anybody has anything else to say about this movie.
Lance.
I'm done.
All right. This is
You don't want to reference some book we've never heard of to make a point we don't get.
Well, we could talk about the symbology of the vulture and the way it was cybernetic, but we won't go into that.
All right, then we're gonna do ratings then.
What is Josh Smith's rating scale?
I think we should give them ginger snaps.
Ginger snaps. Done.
Ginger snaps.
All right. Out of 106 ginger snaps.
Out of 5 ginger snaps, how many ginger snaps did you give this movie?
I give it a 4.
4
Pretty high, but
Cheese
Anybody?
wheels?
Can we go and do you have quarter cheese wheels?
Ooh.
I can give you a quarter cheese wheel.
All right, then I'm gonna go 3.75.
Oh,
Ooh.
what a bucket of
That's
yuck.
3/4.
God, I hate you. But okay, 3.75. Okay, so that we're doing a okay. Yeah. I'm gonna this all.
All right, then just do 4.
Round
gonna give
up.
you-
Round it up. Just give it a 4.
Round it up.
Nondescript baseball hats.
Solid 4.
Ken?
I'm real. Like here's the thing. I was making fun of.
you can't give it a 4.
I can't give it a 4,
Exactly.
but I can't give it a 3. I'll do 3.5.
3.5 bandanas. Lance?
3.5 ebony bald heads.
I'll go with you and give it 3.5 ivory bald heads. We'll be together on this one.
There we
Lance.
go.
Perfect harmony.
There we go.
All right.
All right, go see it.
Yes, go see it. So we get more Marvel Universe in our Spider Universe. You
Okay.
got Marvel Universe and my Spider Universe.
Oh, you mix them together.
All right.
And what do
So-
you get?
Awesomeness. Please like. All right, please check us out on SoundCloud and
And everything else.
like, share, subscribe, invite fools.